I love truffle, but as it's become so like quite expensive, but also on every dish ever.
Yeah.
I had pasta not that long ago, truffle pasta, and it was really crap.
I've sort of trained myself to enjoy truffle. I do find it's a
Yeah.
little bit...
You can mask a dish.
It's a flat flavour. It's a one flavour pony.
Yeah.
It's you put it in and then the dish tastes like truffle.
It's overpowering.
It's overpowering and quite one-dimensional, and I think because it's got the expense sort of halo over it, I feel like it doesn't pull its weight.
How would you enjoy truffle then? How would you elevate a truffle dish?
Oh, you're asking me on the spot.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to give a shout out to a special sponsor, Sam Lawrence Recruitment. We all know that finding the right people or the right job can feel really overwhelming, and that's exactly where Sam comes in. He really just gets it. It's not just about ticking boxes, it's about connecting the right people with the right opportunities. He takes the time to understand you and exactly what you're looking for, whether you're building a team or taking that next career leap. So definitely get in touch. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. At Getting to Grow, I believe that growth starts with connection. And that's where our sponsor, We Are All Marketing, comes in. I'm super excited to be partnering with Vic and the team over at We Are All Marketing. They're not just a marketing agency, they're storytellers, strategists, and your biggest advocates. Whether you're building a brand, launching a product, or strengthening your digital presence, We Are All Marketing helps you turn ideas into impact. With a personalised, results-driven approach, they ensure your vision reaches the right audience in the right way. Ready to grow your business? Visit weareallmarketing.com and see how they can help you thrive. Getting to Grow is also brought to you by the Coconut Collab. And full disclosure, as I'm sure most of you are aware, I work there, so I know how much love goes into everything that we make. We're all about creating delicious, dairy-free, plant-based treats that do not compromise on taste. From our creamy yogurts to our indulgent desserts, everything's made with coconuts and a whole lot of care. If you're looking for something naturally good but seriously tasty, and my favourite is just our natural coconut yogurt, I have it most mornings with granola and lots of honey. Trust me, you're going to absolutely love it.
So, a slightly different one today, but we have the amazing taste expert who is Olivia Abramson, speaking all about taste. Now, we are all obsessed with how things taste, obviously, we wouldn't be eating them, but there is so much talk in F&B about how the product has to taste amazing before you sell it. The product has to taste amazing. But what is taste? What is the kind of, what's our mouth and our taste buds learning? Like, I don't know. So this is where I brought Olivia in today. So Olivia, tell me about what you were doing before you got into being a taste expert. And how your kind of journey led to where you are.
Thank you for having me here. Well, I guess growing up I was always really interested in food, and I was very exposed to a lot of different foods and spices and different flavours just because my mum was an amazing cook and I went to summer camps of cooking and just had a very lucky exposure to it, and I used to always put weird and wonderful flavours together. If there was a buffet, I would put my dessert on my plate at the same time as my meat, because I just liked being able to control the different flavours I was able to get. I love tapasy type meals where I can just sort of play with what I feel is right in a bite. I actually was I went to on a trip to the west coast of America, and I went to a lot of wineries, and I wasn't expecting to because I was quite young at the time, but I could describe some of the flavours that the connoisseur was asking us. What could you taste in the wine, this wine? What could you taste in this wine? And I was saying all sorts of things like barbecue sauce and hickory and almonds but roasted, and cut grass, and things that felt very familiar to me. And she said, I think that you should go into the food industry or do something with taste. So I was actually studying science at the time, and I got really interested in nutrition. And after my nutrition degree, I did a master's and realised a lot of people were going into being dietitians and working in hospitals, and I was like, I just have this fascination with what food is doing to the body and how I can work in food. And I ended up I could only work for like a healthy company because that was the values that I held and I ate by. And I wrote a long list of companies that I'd like to work for that inspired me, and Innocent was at the top, and I landed a job there.
What was your first role?
And I was a product developer assistant. I actually applied to be the product developer with 5 years experience, and I said I've got none, but they said if you have a good apple crumble recipe, give it to us, we'd like that. So I cooked an apple crumble all weekend, just like trying to perfect the recipe, and I got a friend to mock up the label of an Innocent smoothie as like, the nutrition of me. And I was like, because if I didn't have the experience, how was I going to stand out? And I delivered a hot apple crumble to them on a Monday morning, and they happened to have their products team meeting on a Monday, and they ate it and they called me straight away and they said, we don't have the role that you've asked for, but we've got an assistant role.
Amazing.
And because I had no work experience, it was the most incredible place to learn processes, to learn the quality of ingredients from farm to how it ends up in the bottle after the end of the shelf life. You would choose sort of the harvest window, the perfect harvest windows of the flavours of each ingredient, and every batch that came from the farm we would taste. It was a very high quality, very detail orientated, high process business, and I learned, I couldn't be more grateful for all of the learnings that I took from there.
And then on to Joe, or was there one in between?
Then I went and worked in a company called Rebel Kitchen, Nurture Brands. And because I was taking all my Innocent learnings, and they were a smaller company, I could bring all my process learnings and build a team where there wasn't one, and set up factories with good quality and best practices in different countries, and had an incredible 4 years there developing their range. And then I was freelance for a few years. I've been freelance sort of intermittently between larger contracts, and Joe and the Juice just popped into my life, and I had the right credentials, exactly matched for what they were looking for at the time. They didn't have any product development member or team or anything in there, and they'd been around for 20 years, so they definitely needed some expertise from external sources, and I just fit in, and I hired a team and redeveloped the menu, and which was an incredible challenge because it was a global brand with over 300.
So you were in charge of the global
rollout.
Wow!
Did you bring close to 400 stores, thousands of juicers to train on recipes? So that was a whole different ballgame of learning food service, learning how to create a recipe that's easy for people, for young juicers who'd be behind the bar in Scandinavia that I didn't even meet face to face, but had to just make it as simple and easy and reproducible as possible.
Gosh, so were you in charge of all the sandwich fillings? Because I feel like they come out and they're like trends, like everyone's like making their own like tuna cardos at home.
It went viral, that tuna, spiced tuna.
It was delicious though.
Yeah,
it is delicious.
We did a sandwich, we did the egg cardo sandwich,
nice.
And that was great. And some of the other recipes were tweaked and checked and changed and all sorts, and you wouldn't necessarily know it, but there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes.
Of course. Oh, those sarnies are so good.
Yeah.
And now you are a freelance taste expert, so working across a few brands, helping them with the taste of their product.
Yeah, so I'm a product developer, so I develop the recipe in the kitchen, and then can do everything from ingredient sourcing, factory sourcing, and upscaling to get it on shelf. And just one thing that I am really conscious of is taste, and there's no point in creating a product just for creating it, or just being semi-okay with the output, because if you're going to create a tasty product, I mean, if you're going to create a product, you want customers to be like, oh, that was so good, I want to come back, or just remember it as being a good experience.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're not going to get repeat sales.
No.
And what I really try and do is I try and get my clients to have an aspiration to get an award of some kind. I also judge for the Great Taste Awards and some other award panels, and I really can understand what a judge is looking for, and so try and also develop with a great taste in mind, because I just think if you're going to be having a smoothie or having a sandwich, why can't that be the best experience for you, rather than just a reproducible or commercially viable, even though that totally needs to be taken into account. It's like, how can we get the best flavour as one of the key criteria?
God, it's so fascinating when you like dive deep into it, because you know, my taste buds are, I'm very lucky. I feel like they're quite an educated palate over here. But more in the sense of like, if I have a sandwich from the supermarket, versus like what we're so spoilt living in London, the sandwich shops here, like, you know, the salt beef sarnies. Oh God, my favourite things in the world is a salt beef sandwich. And you know, you just, when it's like made properly in like a kind of little store or deli, it's so different to going to, and then you taste a supermarket egg tuna, whatever, you're like, fuck, this is foul.
Yeah. And so what I would do is, someone might take a mango puree. If someone's creating, say, a tropical smoothie, they might want mango, pineapple, maybe some passion fruit. I will taste 8 different suppliers of mango puree. I want to know it, how smooth is it, how creamy is it, what flavour notes am I getting? Am I getting tobacco notes, which is slightly negative, cheesy notes, which can come into mango purees, slightly negative, or am I getting more floral notes? Am I getting sort of almost a perfumed mango, the sweetness, the caramelized flavour? And I'll taste 8 of them side by side and choose the best one. Yes, the best one might be the most expensive, but how can we work with it, maybe even in a combination, so that I'm elevating the mango in the best possible way? So that's
no one
the
wants
detail.
a cheesy
tobacco
mango.
But those are often the cheapest because they use a variety of different varieties. So they use a blend, which it can be cheaper to do that. And I will try and find the most commercially viable, but also delivering the best quality. So it takes a while to do that, and a lot of people don't put the effort in or are not detail orientated. So sometimes, you know, I've been told off for being too detailed, but actually sometimes the details matter, and they certainly matter.
We'd be great at running a business together, because I'm not in the detail. So like, you could be all the detail, and I could be just the other part.
Oh, I'd love to be that.
That would be fab.
True Virgo.
What's the biggest like taste myth that you wish people would stop believing?
I think that you have to be an expert in order to express yourself in taste. I think a lot of people think that, if you're a wine connoisseur, that's when you can talk about cut grass, or how, you know, there's a slight leather taste to it. But I think we can train our taste buds to be a little bit more in tune and use words to describe things, because we can widen our library of words that we use. Sometimes we just say, oh, that's good, or that's nice, and what does that actually mean? You know, does that mean, oh, am I getting more lime or less lime? Am I getting more of those perfume passion fruit notes or not? Is that, but good doesn't describe it. So I really, when I train people, because I train people how to taste, and I take them through sessions where I look at their lowest threshold and really activate their lowest threshold of taste across their different taste stimuli. And that's just for one of the senses. We're doing across all 5 senses. But when I'm training someone how to taste, I want them to start building a library, and you can only do that by being more present to the spices in your cupboard. You know, what does cinnamon actually smell like? What does it taste like? Because then, as soon as you lock it in, it's then a point in your library. When you taste a wine that might have a chemical composition that's similar to cinnamon, you can then reference it like, oh, I just got a bit of cinnamon in there. Because otherwise, if you had never tasted cinnamon, you wouldn't know that it did taste similar. So it's about building a huge library, and there's never an end. And that's the beautiful thing. There's never an end to the library of words. And I use it as moments to be present and mindful. It's like a little micro moment of meditation.
Yeah.
And we've got all these buds on our tongues, these little receptors that are able to pick up little stimuli that are dissolved in our saliva all the time. And there are moments where we can, you know, when we're eating things and the food is around our mouth, that is such a moment to be as present as possible to these buds that can pick up flavour.
We're so used
Taste.
to just going like, you know, eating really quickly and not like taking the time to think and eat about it. So I'm going to have dinner tonight and I'm going to eat everything with the thought of being like, what does this actually taste like?
Yeah, because when your mind is in the, oh, is it peach or is it pear? Or is that olive or thing? It can't be in how stressful are those emails in a day. So what the myth, I think, is that I have to be a taste expert in order to taste food well, or I don't know how to taste. You know, I probably rubbish at tasting, but actually I think we're all hidden experts.
Just sit and think.
Just sit in, like, with these dormant mouths that could actually awaken.
Gosh.
So I'm on a mission to awaken people's taste buds.
Absolutely.
I want a party hat for every bud.
Oh my god, 100%.
Yes.
Love that. And we were speaking earlier about how much I hate bananas. Like, they are foul, in my opinion.
Yes.
Do you think I could train myself to ever enjoy it?
There would be a lot of science research that you could look into that would be, I'm sure, more factual than the summary I might give. But it has been shown that with repeat exposure, you can have a slightly more enjoyable experience. They say, I mean, it really differs, but say 8 to 10 times, you'll then have a more pleasurable experience. Also, you can do things...
8 to 10. See, I don't want to go through with that.
Yeah, because like olives, for example,
Love
some
them.
kids don't like olives, but if you or vegetables, but if you repeat expose, it's almost in a micro way as well, could be a way to try and deliver that flavour, almost like in a like, what's it called when you try and immune yourself to it?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so you could perhaps repeat exposure, which can help build a tolerance to that particular flavour profile or stimulus. Yeah, but some people who really hate bitter, it could be because they are super bitter sensitive.
Yeah.
And so it really differs for different people. And some people have got a phobia of things. So, it could be, your banana could be because my friend's got a banana phobia, and I think she said that her sibling smashed a banana in her face when she was young. And that is trauma. It caused a trauma. So that's a slightly different emotional connection to it than a taste. But yes.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever tasted, but it like blew your mind and you were like, wow?
Well, recently I came across this awesome guy called Robin, who has actually created the Fermenters Guild. He runs a company called Koji Kitchen, and he's just created this slow sauce that he's very into fermenting.
Okay.
And he lives in Scotland, and he's used the oats in Scotland because they're a huge commodity,
Mm.
and fermented them the same way as the Japanese do miso rice and miso.
Wow.
So he's created an oat miso, which is, honestly, I tasted it, it was unreal. The depth of flavour, then the crunchy, almost porridge-like consistency, but just adds a really interesting. So it was a really weird experience.
How would you use that product?
It's similar to miso. You could put it on tofu. You could
Fine.
put it in stir fries.
Okay.
You can, there's so many different uses, but it adds a really interesting,
Wow.
very intense depth of flavour and umami, which is always hard to achieve.
Umami. Let's talk about umami because it seems
Yeah.
to be everyone's talking about umami.
Totally.
What is umami?
Umami is its basic taste. So just like you've got bitter, sweet, salt.
But why do we
acid.
only know about umami in like the last 5 years? But we've always
Because
known about salt and sweet.
Yeah,
For example.
it's not something that has been spoken about. I don't know exactly why it's suddenly come out, but it's always been around because it's naturally found
Yeah.
in mushrooms and parmesan and broccoli, tomatoes. That's why a tomato, Bloody Mary, tastes
Yeah.
so good on a plane, because our thresholds are higher for taste on a plane, and so you get more umami. So basically umami it can be detected by all over the tongue, and it is a really intense, but it can give a very long and deep flavour, and a lot of Asian cooking uses MSG or enhancers, which is a more lab-made monosodium glutamate, but a small amount goes so far to deliver flavour, and so it's an easy hack to deliver flavour. But a lot of companies now are using a natural form, like grinding mushrooms and putting it in chili oil instead of putting MSG in, so that they can deliver that length of flavour.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's always been there, but it's just less, it's less known, but it's almost more explosive and more intense than some other basic
It is.
tastes.
I love it. I love umami. Like I love Asian cooking, and that's where I tend to kind of have it. Like if I'm doing like gochujang,
Yes.
the fermented bean paste, right?
Yes.
I've made a stir fry out of that before, and I remember being like, wow, that's got umami.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that had an oomph to it than just like soy sauce.
And it's a depth. What I quite like is, even in a dressing that I'm trying to make or a dish, I'm always thinking about the different elements that can work together to form my perfect bite. And sometimes that's sweetness, saltiness, a bit of acidity, maybe a bit of warmth, like to activate some trigeminal nerves. So that's like almost not a taste, it's an experience. But I'm looking for length of flavour, and umami is a really lovely way to just trail along in the distance and carry on the bite for a long time.
I love it. I think it's such a nice flavour.
So great.
And why is it that we crave things that are like more like junk food versus healthy food? I mean, one generalising here, because I actually do crave a lot of healthy food, but why does the general population tend to crave more like crisps and cakes? And
Because fat, salt, sugar activate dopamine, and that is the happy chemical that we're all craving and kind of addicted to. So it's a really fast and quick way to deliver that happiness straight away. Also, there's a lot of satisfaction and instant gratification that comes with the crunch of a crisp, the mouthfeel of fat. Crunching on a carrot is certainly less enjoyable.
but why? Because it's still a crunch.
It's still a crunch, but the crunch of the fried fat and the carbohydrate that then is broken down by the saliva in your mouth.
So good.
And it's
when you have so many
and the
crisps
salt is
and
just
your lip goes white.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Unreal.
But then the salt that instantly, because usually a crisp or a chip is covered in the salt that's surrounded it. It's just such an instant hit, whereas carrot it's not high in salt. I mean, it's just quite bland in flavour. I mean, it can really be dressed well. It's not to say that high fat, sugar and salt is the only way that we can be addicted to the food, because you can do a lot with healthy food. Like, you can create a delicious bite with healthy carbs, with healthy ingredients to deliver a perfect mix of a bite that is almost as quenching, but there's a little bit of work and thought that needs to go to, because the convenient stuff is the stuff that is cheap, easy and very high gratification.
And it's manufactured to want us to keep going back.
Totally. Even the sound of a crisp packet is part of the experience.
Yeah. So how much does smell come into it as well when you're tasting a product?
Hugely. I mean, smell and taste equal flavour, and so when
generally one might sniff before tasting.
Yeah, and that's almost a protective mechanism to stop us having something that's off. And also it can already activate your salivary glands and your digestion before you've even eaten the bite. So it can be a useful tactic. But also, it's so part of flavour. If you don't want to taste something, pinch your nose and swallow it. You know, that's what we were told to do.
Of course.
And if you've got a cold, you won't be able to taste, and your food might taste very bland. I mean, a lot of people knew from COVID.
Yeah, that was mental. How many people lost their taste? But then also,
lost my taste. I was mourning it. I was doing taste exercises every day.
What's a taste exercise?
Smelling all sorts of different extracts and different smells to try and awaken it. And I was having to have very crunchy food and very hot, spicy food to give me because my trigeminal nerves, which are all over your tongue, your face, which pick up, cooling, menthol, and also warm and hot and bubbles of champagne and all sorts of different feelings. I was using that to compensate for the fact I couldn't taste. It was very upsetting.
Because I had a friend actually, and she lost her taste buds, but then when she did eventually taste, everything tasted vile.
Yes.
So like she said, her words, it tastes like I'm eating a dead person.
Yes.
I'm not sure how she knew what a dead person tasted like.
Maybe she has experienced that.
I mean, we hope not. But that's quite mad that everything she then had tasted so foul and like vulgar.
Yeah.
Gosh, no, not for me. I love eating.
I found that I got so unexcited by my
or
meals.
you do when you're ill though, don't you? Because you can't taste it, and that's exactly what you say. What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
And I realised how excited I got for every meal before. Like, I'd wake up excited for breakfast and go home from work excited for what I was going to make for dinner. So without that, life is very boring. So awaken your taste buds, everyone.
Please go and do that.
Please.
And what's the most, would you say, like overrated sort of ingredient in food right now? That's like a big trend that you're like, oh, this isn't actually.
Well, do you know what? Even though I've sort of trained myself to enjoy truffle, I do find it's a little bit.
You can mask a dish.
It's a flat flavour. It's a one flavour pony.
Yeah.
It's you put it in and then the dish tastes like truffle. It's hard to sort of match truffle. Yes, you can put it with parmesan or something, but like it's hard to match truffle with anything.
No, it's overpowering.
It's overpowering and quite one-dimensional, and I think because it's got the expense sort of halo over it, it's I feel like it doesn't pull its weight.
It's interesting you say that, because I love truffle, But as it's become so what it is now, which is quite expensive, but also on every dish ever.
Yeah.
I had pasta not that long ago, truffle pasta, and it was really crap. And I just thought, all I'm tasting is truffle. There's no thought into this at all. You've just literally put truffle and cream and almost mixed those two things and shoved it on some pasta.
Yes.
It was boring, and yeah.
And because, talking of trying to get things commercial, because people are wanting a very expensive ingredient to be more readily available, then they just make flavourings out of it. And so a lot of the time you're having truffle, it's just a flavouring. It's not even
Truffle.
necessarily from truffle.
Mm.
So
How would you enjoy truffle then? How would you elevate a truffle dish?
oh, you're asking me on the spot. I mean, I haven't experimented to try and really see what it could match up with, other than mushroom, maybe a green veg, maybe a carb, maybe a parmesan to lengthen the flavour. So
Parmesan really works.
because it's sort of like a truffle's it's such a hard flavour to
Because
really
it's so,
pin down.
Yeah, it's
of
so
what
standalone.
It's so standalone, and it's so. It doesn't. It's almost like a top note of mushroom, and mushroom usually delivers a very deep note, so it does go really well with more, with a roasted or fried mushroom. I understand why it's put with risotto as well, because those are such a good marriage, and then parmesan naturally fits in with that and gives that really lovely deep flavour as well. So yes, I can see why it goes in that standard meal, but in terms of pairing it with other things, that could be an interesting experiment. Of just where have we
Not
put it? Because could it work in something sweet? Could it work in something slightly rogue? Maybe breads and yes. Yes.
We should try
something where it's, what can we take the
because truffle
flavour
cream isn't too bizarre, but we haven't done it with sugar to make it like a sweet cream.
like a truffle porridge. I could really imagine
Ooh.
Maple and truffle. Bring
Yeah.
newness with truffle is what I'm saying.
And if you could ban one flavour combo, what would you ban?
Do you know what? Birthday cake.
Yes, what is that? It's just
What
nice
is that?
vanilla.
I don't understand birthday cake. I see it in all of it.
It's talking about that. It must be that tray bake thing you had at school. That just classic vanilla tray
I
bake.
don't
That is birthday
understand what birthday cake is.
cake. It's sugar. I find this about red velvet. It's chocolate cake dyed
Yes.
with a
Yes.
cream cheese frosting.
Yes.
What red velvet is not a flavour.
No. No.
It's chocolate cake dyed red.
Yes.
But everyone's like, oh, I love red velvet, and I'm like, what do you
But
mean?
what does it taste
I
like?
never understood that. What do you mean you like red velvet?
I totally
It's
get
chocolate
that.
cake dyed red. It's chocolate cake. I find that, yeah. Birthday cake is weird. You see so much stuff about birthday cake, don't you? There's birthday cake cookies and
But and it's
sugar.
mostly in the protein world, and that's even more confusing.
Oh, yeah,
it's
protein
like,
bars.
okay, I'd like
with
to...
those little colourful dots.
The confetti. And I'm like, I don't understand. If I'm trying to get protein, and I'm a gym bro, do I really want to be eating a multicoloured birthday cake flavoured? It's not my birthday.
No, bizarre.
It's very odd.
Good. Do you know what? I'm with you on that.
Thank you.
Do expensive foods actually taste better, or do we have, like truffle, do we have this preconceived, because it's expensive, even if we don't really like it, we probably wouldn't say?
Well, I think there's, as I said about the halo effect, if something's expensive, I think there's already an anticipation of that it might be of a more premium quality. But I think expense comes so much more than just taste. It could be where you've sourced it.
Of course.
It could, it could be how ethical it is, it could be if it's got organic certification, it could be, there's so many different things that could make it expensive other than just tasting better. So it might not actually taste better, but it might be just more expensive. And some places have a designated region of producing things, and so say Champagne, but it doesn't mean that some other wine producer couldn't create a exact replica, but it just can't be as expensive or called Champagne. So therefore it might be given a different price tag, and then that might create a perception of it must be less good. So I think it's all about, I think we have gotten into a pattern of if it's more expensive it must taste better, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's a gap that we're missing, that's suddenly filled in by, oh, it's expensive, therefore it must taste great.
And the brands that you work with, and they might be a kind of a founder, generally my listeners are entrepreneurs and like early stage founders, but also through to, you know, later stage founders and even selling. What would you say to them when they're coming to, like, you know, MPD launches, or they're even developing their first product? What would be like your biggest piece of advice for them?
Don't just let the factory develop it.
Yeah, spend time.
Spend time on your development process. Spend time thinking about the values of your company, what ingredients actually fit within that, how are they sourced, what quality do you really want to put in, because what you put in is put out. And be there, be present in the process, you know, understand how the product is made, because if they're using a really high temperature in the factory and that keeps dulling down the taste of the product and the colour starting to go brown because they've used a process that needed to kill the bacteria but has impacted the quality, be there and understand it and know what they're doing so that you can really tweak what needs to. And yeah, I would be present to the full MPD process. I don't know if that's helpful.
Definitely. I think especially if you're, I mean, taste is so key. You have the minute someone tries your product, you've probably got 3 or 4 seconds to make an impact with them, and if they don't like it, they're not coming back.
If
so
it's
like,
brown and separated, be present over its shelf life, like what happens to it. It's not a done product, it's not a plastic reproduced product, it's a living, breathing mix of ingredients that have their own shelf life and their own interaction and their own seasonal journey and their own journey over shelf life. So be present, taste it, see what happens over life, see what happens from batch to batch, how does that change.
Definitely, that's another thing actually that you might not foresee is how batches might change.
Exactly.
And what would you say would be like a trend that you've seen start to emerge that might become like really big in the next kind of 6 months to a year?
I think you touched on it before. I think it's umami.
Okay.
I just am seeing the word
everywhere.
Play out in sauces, in ice cream. I just saw a yeast extract and beer ice cream being made. Like,
but it's not called yeast extract and beer ice cream, is it?
It was umami ice cream.
Right,
and
the word yeast.
It's sort of like a Marmite-y.
Yes, but calling it yeast I think would hurt the public.
But it's
a weird word, isn't it?
It was, the flavour profile was for a sweet item that was creamy, had an umami in the title.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it come through way more, especially in some challenger brands. Was sort of becoming a bit more Michelin in the more basic products, like dressings and sauces and jars. And
the dressing that I love at the moment is All Dressed Up, Tessa. That miso tahini one. Oh,
yes.
I could drink that.
Yeah, I could too.
I use it instead of Caesar because I don't actually like Caesar salad dressing. I prefer that.
Miso is an umami, so I think people are cottoning on to, we're becoming a bit more sophisticated in our palate. So the umami does give a length, as I was saying, which is more sophisticated because you're sort of looking for a bit of length sometimes. Like, wow, that's still going. That taste is still going. How amazing! I can pause for a second because it's still happening.
Yeah, I can really enjoy this.
Whereas some of the more basic tastes like salt and sweet sort of can end quite quickly unless you maybe caramelize the sugar, which can give more depth. You know, like there are ways of giving more depth, but umami is quite a deep flavour that lingers quite a long time on the tongue.
And say you've got girls coming over for dinner tonight, what would you cook them?
Do you know what? This might seem basic,
But
I love chicken marbella.
what's chicken marbella?
Chicken marbella is the most Venn diagram balance of all the flavour profiles put together in a dish, so you almost don't even need starter or dessert.
So
it's
what
all of it
what
in
is
one.
it?
It's chicken with olives, capers for like the saltiness and almost a little bit of umami, but then you're getting chicken, like the umami from the chicken and the salt and the skin. Not apricots, I lied. Prunes, so you get this deep caramel sweetness. Red wine vinegar, so there's this elevated acidity and almost like evaporated deliciousness.
Yes.
I
I love that you use deliciousness too, because I do that.
And when it's all put together, it's just
What do you have it with?
rice.
Okay.
And you can dress up your rice, you can jewel your rice, you can herb the rice, crunch roasted nuts over it, and greens, just gorgeous greens, and sometimes a zest, a bit of orange over the greens. But it's such a perfect.
For chicken marbella.
You're welcome.
I've never heard of this at all.
It's absolutely delicious.
And
it's
is
an
it-
old recipe that my mum used to always make.
Is it famous in Marbs?
I'm gonna have to come back to you.
I don't like.
Like, can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it called marbella?
Should we call it like? Should we change it and call it like Mallorca?
Yes.
Or like Miami.
Yeah, chicken Miami.
Yeah, and just like slightly change up, like put.
Or you
a bit
might
of corn on the
might
cob
be
in
moving
there.
to Hackney. We can call it chicken Hackney.
Exactly.
TVC. And obviously, taste is more than just flavour. It's crunch. It's texture. It's all those bits in between. Because actually, like thinking about myself, I have porridge a lot. I love porridge because it fills me up for so long. And I have to put like peanut butter, I have to put yogurt on it, I have to put nuts, I have to put seeds, I have to put maple syrup, I have to like completely, it can't just be oats and milk. Ugh. Although sometimes at prep, when I'm in a run, I have to put honey on because there's nothing else available. But yeah, I have to like, it's heaped with texture and granola actually sometimes as well. That all comes into play. Like,
I'm so impressed by you right now.
really?
Yeah.
Does not everyone else shove loads of stuff on their porridge?
I don't think so. I mean, for me, that's called layering of flavour and texture.
Yeah, I can't
Which
have
I
the
am.
same.
You know how you sometimes adorn yourself with different jewels and a belt and a. You might have a little waistcoat over a
Styling
t-shirt.
it. I'm
You're
styling my
styling and
porridge.
layering. You are layering and styling your porridge.
I struggle with risotto, and I now know it's because I can't have just one mush.
I understand.
I have to, if I'm having risotto, I need like, not a chimichurri, but like something with something on top to like give me something else. Because if it's just like chicken risotto or mushroom risotto for like the entire dish, I need the texture.
I totally understand.
Yeah, I never would order a risotto.
Yes.
Unless I'm home making it and then I top it.
Well, that's why certain cuisines really work for me, because when I recently did a trip to Mexico and fully immersed myself in all of the food culture and to learn about the different salsas. A lot of people think that Mexican food is just all hot, but when you go there, actually things are pretty, like the base is pretty mild, and then you get to add different heat on top and different crunch on top, and maybe a dollop of cream, which adds some cooling to it. But the salsas that add the sparkle of heat, and the corn that adds the crunch, and you've just got so many textures, so many colours that you can pick. It's a canvas your plate is a canvas that suddenly you've become Picasso by the end of the meal, and you've jumped it, and you're so satisfied, because it's sometimes very satisfying to have all the different flavours, cooling, warm, and then each bite can be slightly tailored, so you never get bored and you feel so satisfied. But yes, so sometimes having soup for dinner can be very unsatisfying.
No, I couldn't. I'd have to have some crunchy bread or something on top.
Totally.
I can't believe I've done this on an empty stomach.
Oh,
this is the worst podcast to have ever. I'm starving.
Is your mouth
salivating?
Completely.
I'm done. I need to go food. Thank you so much. I've learned so much about taste. I think you're right about it's not just the first initial thing you think and you feel and you taste. It's actually sitting back in the process of kind of enjoying and what actually does last. So at dinner this evening, I'm gonna totally think about that and kind of think about the flavours that I eat.
And I'm telling you, you will have a mindful moment. You won't be thinking about anything stressful.
No.
I'll
be in my food.
You'll be in your food.
Oh, gold.
Don't eat with anyone tonight.
No, sit alone and just munch by myself.
And sniff and look at it and feel it and taste it and enjoy it before you even pick up your next bite.
Can't wait. Thank you so much, Olivia.